Hey guys, so the summer months are here and we are going to be giving you today some considerations to keep in mind for your dogs and the heat that the summer will bring. So point number one, first consideration we want to keep in mind is the pavement. Pavement can get too hot in the sun for our dog's paw pads. The best way to check the pavement is physically take your hand, the palm of your hand, put it on that pavement for at least 5 seconds. If it's uncomfortable, if you cannot keep your hand on the pavement for at least 5 seconds, it's going to be too hot for our dog's paw pads. Also on top of that, important to note, make sure we're considering the environment that we're putting our dogs in. Choose shaded areas and not areas that are going to be in the sun. Point number two, dogs with shorter snouts are going to have a hard time breathing in the heat than dogs with longer snouts. So it's important to be aware of your specific dog's body type and how they are handling the heat. Couple breeds that might come to mind, French bulldogs, English bulldogs, pugs, things like that with shorter noses. We want to keep them in mind with the heat considerations. Point number three, dogs drinking, large amounts of water after exercise while they're panting very hard can actually be not good for them. Too much water in a dog's stomach can cause bloat. Some safe ways to give your dogs water after physical exercise is either letting them sip the water, so not chugging a whole ton of water at once, or waiting until they stop panting and then allowing them to drink the water. Point number four, if you are going to be using a fan to cool off your dog, it's important that we are not using that fan and pointing it directly in their face. This can cause some issues with their breathing. So important placement for a fan could be behind them or to their side so that you are blowing the hot air that they are exhaling away from their face versus putting it in their face and now we're blowing that hot air back towards them. Point number five, you need to be cautious of your dog's body language. So if they are panting excessively, it could be smart to get into a cool environment where they can start to, breathe more normally. That panting will cease. We want to make sure that if their tongue is hanging out and curling like a ladle or like a spoon, then of course we're getting them into shade. That can be a sign of overheating. Point number six, if your dog is actively seeking shade on their own, that can be a sign that they need to cool off. They're becoming overheated. So let's say you're playing fetch. If you're throwing the ball and your dog is choosing to go over to a shady area, that would be a sign, hey, we don't continue the game. We don't continue playing fetch. We're going to pause the game. We're going to make sure that they have a chance to cool down. All right, so those are the 6 tips to keep in mind, some considerations to keep in mind as we're getting into the hot summer. Go ahead and apply these to your daily life with your dog.